Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sound of the Day with me, Mark Anderson Audio. This is a new series where I'm going to make a certain sound, maybe a sound effect, a loop, a beat, whatever it is, and we're going to talk through the process of how we created it. So let's listen to today's sound. Okay, so what we have here is quite a kind of abstract sci-fi kind of beat. I was inspired to make this sound after playing the game Mass Effect, which has lots of kind of quite cool abstract, kind of half music, half kind of atmospherics, where there's not really a discernible melody as such. It's more there to kind of create this sense of unease. And the reason I want to talk about this sound effect is I created it in quite a strange way. So tell you what, I'm going to mute a bunch of these tracks here. I'm going to mute my drum beat, my reverb, my delay, and I'm going to show you what I actually started with, which was this. So this is basically a BFD2 drum loop. So I'm running BFD2 here. I just picked a drum loop and kind of threw it in. So BFD is just playing this one drum loop over and over. What really makes the sound though and makes this whole thing work was I was messing around with the Pod Farm Elements filter. So Pod Farm, if you don't know, is the guitar effects suite. So I was like, maybe I can mess around and put these onto drum beats and see what I can come up with. And this is how it ended up, the beginning of the sound, as it were. So basically I just messed around with lots of different settings. There's lots of different types. I played around with lots of different things and ending up with this sound that I quite liked. There is quite a lot of horrible noises you will create with these filters, but I also found quite a few that I liked. And what's quite cool about it is it almost ends up more like a bass line than a drum beat. So I had this sound and then I was like, right, cool, let's see if we can thicken this up a little bit. So to thicken it up, I added some delay. I used my favorite delay plugin, which is the Nomad Factory Echoes, it's called. It's a fantastic plugin. And basically what I did is set it to a fairly slow echo time, but with like almost an infinite number of repeats. My beats per minute for this track is 60 beats per minute, so it's very slow, very methodical, and adding this delay just adds this kind of thickness and layering to it. What I also did, this is a trick that I do sometimes when doing sound design, is on my delay bus here, I've actually put a chorus on after the echoes in the chain. And basically what this does is it kind of messes up the sound and keeps that sense of movement going, which I quite like. So that's something I experiment a lot. It's just throwing random effects onto the same bus as either a delay or a reverb to see what weird things can come up with. So we'll add in our delay now. And I'll mute that so you can hear it without. Cool, next thing, nice and simple, I just added a reverb channel. This is the CSR Classic Studio Reverb, it's very nice, and put quite a lot of reverb on. Again, just adds that kind of sense of thickness, and since I'm going for a sci-fi feel, I wanted a kind of spacey echo kind of vibe to it all. So since it started off as a drum beat, you can obviously get that underlying sense of rhythm to the whole thing. So when I got to this point, I was like, this might sound quite cool with a huge big kick drum and snare drum thrown on top. So what I did is I got my Contact 4, I've got the machine drum selection, and I've got a dubstep kit. And if we look at our MIDI track down here, this is kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare. That's all it is. And then I put some absolutely tons of compression on there using the McDSP ML 4000 limiter, the best limiter in the business in my opinion, and this is what we ended up with. Cool. So basically what I hope you take away from this is by some weird experimentation, in this case throwing some strange kind of analog weird filter things on a drum beat, you can completely change the sound and end up with something new and end up going in a creative direction that you didn't expect to. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this first episode. of this new new series, Sound of the Day. I think I'll call it, I suppose. My name's Mark Anderson Audio. Adios.